second violin. Please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Please be seated. Good afternoon, and welcome to the University School of Milwaukee commencement exercises for the class of 2019. My name is Stuart Cushman. I'm the head of the upper school, and on behalf of University School, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you, faculty, trustees, alumni, staff, parents, grandparents, family, friends, and especially our soon-to-be graduates. We are here on this auspicious occasion to make official the accomplishments of these excellent young men and women who are seated before me. We are here to grant our highest honor, the USM diploma, to welcome one more cohort into the University School of Milwaukee alumni, to use this final opportunity to offer advice, and lastly, to say farewell. We have relished our work with these young people over the past years, sometimes joyful, sometimes challenging, but always enriching. To get to this point, to be able to take part in this ceremony that marks the completion of their youthful education is genuinely an honor for us. Students, I know that I speak for all our faculty when I say that we are proud of you. For those of you who don't know, the class of 2019 is significant for its successes, for its artistic successes, for its athletic championships, for its strong academic work. Now, as the last senior speeches have been delivered, the last exams have been taken, and the final papers handed in, you have been educated in the university school tradition, and this is not an easy path. Our school is demanding in its expectations for rigor, vigor, dedication, and ethical conduct, and we will have it no other way. Your teachers, your coaches, parents, the entire school community have given you a tremendous opportunity. You've gotten to this place where you find yourselves now through the determined and loving effort of others, combined with your own good work. And so now you too have a responsibility. Non sibi in Latin means not for oneself. It's a motto to live by. Others have lived it for you, And now it is your chance to do that for others. Non sibi. But now, dear seniors, you're surrounded by those who know and love you best. So enjoy these last few minutes as university school students. It's my pleasure to invite to the podium our head of school, Mrs. Laura Fuller.
Good afternoon, parents and grandparents, friends and students. On behalf of the faculty, administration, and the Board of Trustees, I am so delighted to join Mr. Cushman in welcoming you to what is a joyful commencement ceremony for the class of 2019. So before we begin celebrating our guests of honor, our seniors, please allow me to introduce some special guests who have joined me on the graduation stage. Today's graduation speaker, an esteemed graduate of the class of 1987, Ms. Dee Mellencamp. Once again, our upper school head, Mr. Stuart Cushman, the president of our Board of Trustees, Mr. Andrew Petzold, the assistant head of school, Mr. Greg Bach, the assistant upper school head, Mrs. Elaine Griffin, the lower school head, Mr. Michael Tauscher, and the middle school head, Mrs. Pamela Nosbush. Please also join me in welcoming members of our Board of Trustees, Mr. Michael Grebe, Mr. Steve Guy, Ms. Samita Krishne, Ms. Linda Muchler, Ms. Kara Nelson, Mr. Greg Smith, and Mrs. Karen Werner. At this time, I would also love to recognize the alumni of University School or any of our 3 predecessor schools. And I would love to have you stand up so that we can honor the fact that you also sat in these seats. So if you are a graduate of University School or any of the 3 predecessor schools, please stand up so we can applaud you. Truly a fantastic accomplishment, and now seniors, you will join these wonderful alumni of our school. I also would like to ask you to join me in thanking some of the people who have labored tirelessly behind the scenes. It truly starts months in advance to prepare this ceremony for you. These are hardworking staff members who have put countless hours into graduation, preparing the ground, setting up, I believe, 900 chairs, getting the buildings ready, setting up rehearsals, organizing every little detail. Mrs. Nancy Yeager, Mr. Mark Connor, Mrs. Dawn Taylor, the USM grounds, maintenance, security, housekeeping, and food service crews. Please join me in a big round of applause for all of their hard work. And now I turn to you, parents, grandparents, relatives, and friends who have supported and raised the class of 2019. You have provided exceptional resources for these young men and women. And not only in terms of opportunities, but most importantly, through the gifts of your love and time. When they needed your support, you held them up. When they needed you more, you carried them. It is you who provided boundaries and latitude, standards, and forgiveness. You have allowed them to explore, but still know where home is. You are their bedrock. Seniors, if you can, would you just take a look back, see if you can find your families, wave to them and say thank you. And please say thank you again later on today. So now, seniors, I'd like to share with you a frequently used educational pedagogy. It's called backward design. Something I hope that you might consider applying to your lives. It seemed to me that on the occasion of your graduation from high school, the timing seems just perfect for this as you are on the cusp of entering a truly new phase in your lives. And this is a new time when you will be making decisions and plans. Some of them will seem really small to you, but they'll have a potential for a major impact. And you know, up until this point, pretty much everything's been laid out for you. You came to this school, you played these sports, you performed in these artistic endeavors, You went home, you did homework, you slept, you got up, came back the next day. We even told you what to wear, right? So it's been pretty prescribed. Well, I will tell you that during my brief time here at the mic today, I want to give you the possibility of doing something very different because that's where you're going. In the next few years, and I mean the very next few years, you will have so much more input into the decisions that will change your lives. And I think if you're planful about that, you could have a terrifically positive effect on where you're going. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this concept of backward design. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's really simple. And basically the idea is that when planning for a unit or even a full semester's work, your faculty members, your teachers would literally lay out the evaluative assessment at the end of the semester first. And then they would backward design what lessons, what tests, what quizzes, what experiments, what programs, what designs they wanted for you to do to achieve that goal. So as I thought about what I wanted to talk to you about today, I thought, this would work really well for seniors in high school. Because as I said, you are now going to the point into the next phase of your life where you are going to be making those decisions. So I thought maybe you could apply this idea of backward design. So let's give that a little bit more thought. So what do you need to do first? Of course, the first thing you have to do is you have to decide what are those measurements of success that you would like to be known for on the way further other end of your life. How would you like to be evaluated? What skills, what concepts, what personality traits do you want to be able to reflect back on and know that you have achieved? Now, I do recognize that for most of your lives, people asked you, what are you going to do when you grow up, right? Probably starting from the time you can remember. Or what are you going to be when you grow up? But today I want to ask you a question that's much larger than that, much broader in scope. I want you to design a cumulative evaluation of your entire life. And you're sitting there right now going, my gosh, I'm 18 years old. Is she kidding me? But if you would do that, I think it might look something like this. So first of all, I hope that you will want to be remembered more for who you are than for what you were. Were you easy to talk to? Were you a good listener? Were you kind and generous? Were you compassionate and empathetic? Were you loyal? Could you be trusted? Were you reliable? Was your word good? Were you fun? Were you interesting? Were you honorable and respectful? I could go on and on. Who were you? What was your substance? I personally can't imagine a more important list to put together. And then, of course, your life's evaluation will go on to what were you? And this would include some obvious choices. You're going to be doctors, lawyers, teachers, engineers, politicians, business people, entrepreneurs. You're going to be a plethora of different things. Those will be part of your describing your final assessment in life, your final accomplishments. What you do, the steps you take in the next few years as you pursue higher education will, for most of you, definitively define what you will become. You will make educational decisions and choices that may seem very small at the time, but over the course of the trajectory of your life, they could have a major impact. The result of these choices will actually determine how you'll spend your days, your weeks, your months, and even tens of years. So yes, for many of you, what you do for the bulk of your remaining years, you may just decide in the next very few short years. What you will become over the course of your life is of utmost importance, and I would say it's only secondary to who you will become. And I'd also like to suggest that what you will become in this grand assessment that you are contemplating should also include mother, father, uncle, aunt, friend, colleague, etc. Now, I realize, again, this is a lot to think about at your age, but it is actually pretty important to begin the process of your decision-making because it's coming. It's coming right now in the next few years. And when you think of the big scheme of things, most of the important decisions that you will make will have a significant impact. And then I would like to propose to you that you only have this short window of time when you get to make these decisions by yourself, because before you know it, you will be choosing your life partner. And suddenly you won't be making decisions by yourself again. And I'd also like to suggest that who you decide to spend your life with is probably the most important decision that you'll make. But once this process starts and you're sharing your life with somebody else, then suddenly your decisions impact somebody else's life. And that starts to multiply out and you have a ripple effect. So take advantage of these few short years when you can thoughtfully plan ahead. So once you've sort of contemplated this, what if you did sit down and make out a list? What if you sat and made out a list of who you want to be, remembered it for, and what you want to be? I really believe that if somebody had said this to me at your age, some of the less thoughtful decisions I made, some of the ones that I made in haste, I might have made differently. And it will definitely keep you from being bantered through life sort of randomly. And you know what? You're going to get off track once in a while. And once in a while, you're going to forget about that evaluative assessment on the other end. But if you had that in mind, if you knew where you wanted to go, you could redesign. You could backward design again and get back on track. And if you can accomplish this class of 2019, if you could really take this strategic approach to your life right now, because it's happening in the next 1 to 10 years when you will be making these significant decisions, I really think that you will find it to be such a valuable experience. You have a blank slate. It's for you to create. What an exciting point you are at in your lives. You have never been here before. You have never had this level of independence. Enjoy it, be planful, go off, and make us proud. Congratulations, class of 2019.
It is my pleasure to invite to the podium the valedictorian of the class of 2019, Abby Frankel.
I like being tall. Congratulations, class of 2019. As we all transition into these next uncertain and unfamiliar journeys ahead, I would like to leave you with 2 things to consider: to have doubt and to give the benefit of the doubt. First, have doubt. When I was 6, graduating kindergarten, I thought I knew everything about everything. In 3rd grade, I thought I knew everything about some things. Middle school, I thought I knew some things about everything. Graduating from high school, I realize now that I know nothing about almost everything and something about very few things. We are all still learning how to think. On the surface, the idea of knowing how to think seems so trivial, as if it was second nature ever since your first words. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Knowing how to think isn't the same as passing your physics test or remembering your basketball play during the big game. Knowing how to think means thinking critically. And I'm sure you've all heard this term used countless times before. But what does it actually mean? And what does it look like? Going out into the world for the first time, it's more important than ever for us to remember to think and to remain skeptical. Doubt should become our first instinct, because not all evidence is created equal, and there is such a thing as bad evidence. What happens when we are deceived by cognitive bias or logical fallacies? What happens when we place emotion and intuition over analysis and judgment? We believe that the earth is flat, that vaccines are dangerous, or that global warming is a myth. Oftentimes, people that fall for this false logic claim that we all have our own opinions and that we can choose the evidence we believe. But being able to choose your own opinion doesn't mean that you can choose your own evidence. You can like chocolate ice cream more than vanilla, but you can't say that the earth isn't warming. Evidence can have both good and bad qualities, so we have to work to learn the difference. While social media has opened so many doors for our generation, we must also recognize its limitations. Sites such as Instagram and YouTube have created a platform for anyone to spread their ideas, whether they are well-founded or not. My hope as we all graduate is that we will work to recognize the credible ones. As cynical as it may sound, doubt the ideas people present, doubt the reasoning you're told, have doubt. The good news, we're all on the path to learning how to think. The bad news, thinking's hard, and we have to make a constant, conscious effort to do it. But if we make the effort, this is what will distinguish us as thoughtful leaders of society. Second, give the benefit of the doubt. Take a second to imagine that you have a tennis ball in each hand. The one on your left is pristine. Light reflects off every side of it, and it smells as if you just popped the cap off a new container of tennis balls. It's perfect. The one on your right, however, is anything but pristine. The bright yellow color has faded, the W in Wilson is starting to rub off, and it's covered in bite marks and slobber from your untrained dog. What am I getting at? You may be making assumptions and jumping to conclusions about these tennis balls, but with everything I told you, you still don't know anything about them. The pristine one may have just been launched from a fountain and now it looks like new. One might have been in the US Open, used to teach kids tennis at summer camp, or thrown in the trash because it couldn't bounce high enough. You don't know their history and you don't know their stories. We may never be able to know someone's full story, so instead of judging or criticizing them, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, you can go on after this speech, making as many assumptions about people as you want. I can't stop your mind from doing that. All I ask is that you recognize that that is what they are. Not reality, not fact, not even the most likely conclusions, but assumptions. Be aware when you are making them. Even all of us have different stories and have taken different paths to get here. But there is one thing that I can say about all of your stories. They have all led you here today. We are all going to walk up the same set of stairs. We're all going to walk across and get our diploma on the same stage and sit back down onto the same plastic chairs. Our stories all come together here, and sooner than you think, they will all diverge again. And when they do, you'll have to decide which parts of the speech, if any, you care about. As I start to wrap up, I would like to take this opportunity to thank some of the people who worked so tirelessly to get us here. On behalf of my class, thank you to all of the teachers at USM. You encourage us to be determined and dedicated in every aspect of our lives, shaping both the people we are today and the people we hope to be in the future. Next, thank you to USM's administration and staff. You've created an environment for us to thrive in, and our experience wouldn't be the same without you. Lastly, a thank you to the parents. A thank you for the home-cooked meals and late-night study snacks. A thank you for supporting us at sports games, plays, and concerts. And a thank you for this incredible education. If you have a kid graduating here today, you did something really remarkably right. I would like to once again congratulate the class of 2019. Wherever you end up and however you get there, your futures are bright. Thank you.
is my great honor to welcome today's commencement speaker back home to University School. The very accomplished Day Mellencamp graduated from USM with the class of 1987. Day immediately used the lessons learned at our school as she went on to graduate from Brown University with a degree in international commerce, followed by a graduate degree with honors from Columbia Business School. Day was an early entrant into what was at that time a nascent internet tech sector. She worked her way up from assistant product manager to president and CEO over a 20-year career. In that time, she worked at 3 startup companies, 2 of which grew from a handful of employees to over 200 and were successfully sold or became profitable. She has led or been an executive at multiple top 10 websites and has overseen the development of many mobile and TV apps, as well as the acquisition of several mobile startups. Although not directly technical herself, she has managed engineering teams of close to 100 people and claims to know just enough to be dangerous. She has the rare record of successfully growing revenue at each of her companies, being directly responsible for it in 2 of them. Most recently, Day served as the CEO and president at Vimeo, reporting directly to IAC chairman and media mogul Barry Diller for several years. During her tenure at Vimeo, Day led the growth of the company from a startup that had a 0 valuation with almost no revenue to a top video site globally and a valuation of more than $500 million. Day currently sits on the board of Gaia Incorporated, a NASDAQ company, and has served since 2016 on the President's Communications Advisory Council for Brown University. Please join me in giving a warm welcome home to Day Mellencamp.
I gotta see if I can still read my paper on this step. Okay, think again. So thank you, Laura, for the introduction, and thank you all for having me here today. It is humbling, and I am so very honored to be here, to be back at University School after all these years. I can honestly attest to the fact that this school changed the course of my life. Without it, I do not believe I would have the professional or personal success I have today. I also have no doubt that moving forward, all of you will learn more and more how eminently prepared this school has made you for college and beyond. And with that, I want to thank the people outside of your parents, of course, who I believe had the greatest impact in getting you here today, and that's your teachers. My teachers at USM were by far the greatest concentration of the best teachers I have ever had. And they impacted me far more, this is so close, sorry, than any who followed. So for all the work that your teachers did to get you here today, thank you. Can we give them a round of applause? Okay. Now, you're all heading into such exciting times of your life, and you have so much to look forward to. At the same time, you are doing it in a world that is in a state of immense and fast change. I grew up and I grew my career in technology during the advent and adoption of the computer. Yes, I am that old. The internet, mobile phones, apps, and social media. But you are entering a time of what I would call sonic speed growth and change. You have 5G, big data, artificial intelligence, nanotech, CRISPR, and augmented and virtual realities. And in addition, you are facing significant global and social issues. It is a time of tremendous opportunity, and it is a time of great challenge. And so I wanted to share with you 3 principles that I have found that helped me and guided me through times of both good and challenge, and at times of great and fast change. So number 1, keep good company. So who you surround yourself with is critical to your happiness and long-term success. It has absolutely nothing to do with networking or knowing the right people. but rather it's about sticking with those people and situations that lift you up as a person and move you toward your own personal goals. There are two main forms of keeping good company. One, your friends, and two, the places that you work. For friends, you'll know they are good company because you will feel good about yourself after spending time with them. There's a true story about the dog trainer Cesar Millan. And he had a TV show a few years back called The Dog Whisperer. But when he first moved to the United States from Mexico, he found the dogs in the US seemed a little less happy than the dogs in Mexico. So when asked how he helped the dogs, he said that one of the best ways was to put the US dogs in the company of the dogs from Mexico, and after a while, they would be happy too. Who you surround yourself with matters. It's not about having the same tastes or opinions. It's about being around people who believe in you and believe in your integrity and help you keep it. Good company will be those people who tell you the hard truths in a constructive or loving way, and who encourage you to be and do your best while discouraging you from doing things that are not good for you. And you'll know deep down what those things are. They will be there to support you when you are going through a difficult time, and they will be celebrating your successes with you during the good times. You will know the people who are not good company, because they will be the ones who you spend time with and then just don't feel great about yourself after, and you may not even be exactly sure why. It may even be a slow awareness that you don't see at first. Sometimes it's the ones who whisper, "No one will notice. You know, it's just this one time." You will face many tests on this front, both in school and in your career. One of mine came my freshman year in college. I took an introductory computer science class, and I was having a lot of difficulty with one of the homework assignments. So some of my class friends suggested that we all share our answers and just submit them. It was just a homework assignment, and it wouldn't matter. No one would notice. Well, they were wrong. The TA saw too many similarities in the work, and we all got caught for cheating. I was lucky because the teacher decided not to report it to the administration, and instead gave us additional independent homework assignments, which I completed in shame. I did not feel good about myself at all. I never listened to those whispers again, and I didn't hang out with those friends much after either. If you ever find yourself in a situation, company, or with people who you are not sure are working in an ethical or honest manner, no matter how good the benefits, the role, the title, the compensation, you must leave immediately. The well-known business writer Susie Welch has a saying, "You can't build a good career with bad people." It's so true. But you can lose a hard-earned reputation in a minute, despite it taking many years to build up. Keep good company. Okay, number 2. Always be willing to take out the trash. So maybe this was a chore your parents gave you growing up, or that you do today. Why is it important? Well, it's not because it's easy, it teaches responsibility, or that you can start it at a very young age, although those are all really good things. It's important because doing it is participating in something that helps more than just you as an individual. It's about learning that the small and sometimes unpleasant work is of value and can make a difference to those around you. That awareness alone can actually improve what I'd call your empathy muscle, so to speak. And empathy is a proven predictor of career and life success. Plus, the older and more experience you have, and the more you move up the ladder, this principle is a reminder not to get caught up in your ego, where you might consider yourself a little too good for such a lowly task, irregardless of the situation that you are in. I have seen an overblown ego blow up many a team and a career. A couple of weeks ago, there was a national news story about the CEO of JetBlue, who, when flying the airline, which is frequently obviously, wants to help his staff. So he's not a pilot and he can't fly the plane, and he'd be in the way if he tried to serve customers. So instead, he is often seen picking up trash in the aisles. Of course, customers positively report on this in social media, But can you imagine the loyalty and appreciation this act creates from the employees? By encapsulating the belief that all work matters, the JetBlue CEO sets a strong example of team and leadership. My own personal example occurred when I worked at an internet startup called i1.com way back in the early days of the web. The site grew so fast that the volume of traffic started to bring our servers down and we couldn't keep the site live. I was an executive, I was not an engineer, so I couldn't fix the servers to keep the site online. But in looking around at everyone working so hard and knowing it was going to go through the night until the next morning because there was no quick fix, I decided the only thing I could do is try and make the team as comfortable as possible by providing dinner, snacks, and cleaning up while they worked. None of it was part of my job, and I wasn't required to do it. But I earned a lot of loyalty and trust that night that served me for years to come. People will make decisions on who to work with based on 3 primary criteria. 1, can I trust you? 2, are you technically competent? And 3, do I like you? You will spend your entire career working with other people. Your career growth won't depend on you being the smartest person in the room. It won't. And honestly, it won't depend on where you go to college either. It's going to depend purely on you. If you work hard, you play to your strengths, you improve your weaknesses, you focus on the job at hand, work that empathy muscle with those around you, and are always willing to take out the trash when that is the best thing that you can do in the situation, you may find you have a lot of people who really believe in you, trust you enough to share their crazy, brilliant ideas, will work really, really hard with you, and know you've got their backs. There's really no limit to what you can do then. There's a recent quote from a new book that's been out just a few weeks called The $1 Trillion Coach. And it's by Eric Schmidt, the chairman of Google, and some of his colleagues. And the quote is, your title makes you a manager, but your people make you a leader. Always be willing to take out the trash. Okay, we're almost done. 3, you are never stuck. You just have to find the right door. Your life and career path will not most likely be a straight line. In fact, it may look more like a crazy maze or drawing. There will be successes and there will be failures because one doesn't come without the other. There may be missed swings at bat. You might occasionally have to take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And sometimes you might take entire detours around the board. I did all of these. There's a frequent saying, go out and pursue your passion and do what you love. And I couldn't agree more, if you can do it. But sometimes it's not possible to pursue your greatest passion. I mean, not everyone can test video games for a living or be the luxury hotel reviewer that travels the world. But perhaps your passion won't earn enough money for you to support your family. Or perhaps you are not physically able to do it on a full-time basis. Or 100 other reasons that might come up along the way. If you find yourself in that situation, as I did, keep looking for the right door. For me, my dream was to work in television or film. Unfortunately, that career required unpaid internships in other states that my family simply could not afford. I had to move on to find something else that I liked or could find a passion for. So after college, I tried law, then I tried Wall Street, and after years of searching, I finally discovered the internet and found a sincere interest in something new that could earn a living wage and support a family one day. I was not an engineer, nor a programmer, nor a designer of any specific technical skill set. In fact, I was a post-MBA graduate in a world where no one cared about the MBA and in an area where few women at all worked. But I was also a hard worker. I was good with people, and I was willing to learn. I asked a lot of questions, and I had business skills that eventually and ultimately were very useful. I had to find the right door multiple times throughout the course of this path, and it was usually not easy. In your personal life, the same rule applies. 4 years ago, I was quite frankly at the pinnacle of my career, and I decided to step down to spend time at home with my almost teenage daughter. It was the right door at the right time, and I had searched for it for a couple of years. She is now a sophomore in high school, and I am 2 years away from being an empty nester. I am again searching for the right door. I haven't found it yet, but I won't stop searching. You are never stuck. Just keep searching for the right door. Congratulations on your wonderful achievement today. I wish you all the happiness and success the world has to offer, and may you change it for the better. Thank you.
Seniors, it's go time. Mrs. Fuller and representatives of the Board of Trustees, as head of the upper school, I do certify that the following named students have completed all graduation requirements and programs as mandated by the trustees of the University School of Milwaukee, and thereby are entitled to receive this University School of Milwaukee diploma.
Danelle Akanova. Ayokor Aite. China Shaharazad Bacchus. Ava Marie Bobbs. Evan Charles Bolton. Kristen Clarice Chu. Matthew S. Cooper. Matthias Olivier Dermond. Jonah Morty DeToro. Jordan Matthew Dillard. Spencer Joseph Endress. Taylor Alexandra Efferson. Franklin Fitzpatrick Fee. Ethan Kevin Ford. Zoe M. Francis. Abby Frankel. Michaela Kubli Fritz. Jack Hogan Glussman. Vanessa Caroline Goris. Michael Ainsworth Grebe. Nice. Daniel Clayton Gridley. Henry Donovan Harchis. Grace Jennifer Hayden. Holly Elizabeth Hayden. Catherine Elizabeth Hayes. Dalen E. Henderson. Brandon David Hicksbecker. Elsa Larkin Hinkie. Hans M. Holzer. Mateo Lorenz Holland. Tylen Kamar Huff. Rebecca Hanson Jacobs. Anastasia Elaine Karadimas. Ayush Karan. Aisha Sumaya Kazi. Ryan Wigdale Kennedy. Amal N. Khan. Jennifer Ellen Kornreich. William Frederick Kornreich. Keegan Elliott Kubicki. Aishan George Cuddicut. Samantha. Oh. Samantha Morella Larson. Anfani Olua Damilola Lawal. Gordon Thomas Leach. Grace Ann Leverett. Erica LaShawn Amaru Lofton. Ariel Lucia Lopez. Samuel James Lorge. Samuel James Cameron Mackey. Daniela Chloe Marcus. Samantha Brooke Marcus. Elizabeth Rose McGee. David James Mock. Carson Edward Mogish. Brandon C. Montijo. Mia Bella Mullen. Brody Stewart Muchler. Robert Davis Newton. Eleanor Elaine Norman. Sheila A. Norzad. Duncan Robert Petrie. Grace Elizabeth Petzold. Samuel Voss Plummer. Caden Bolster. Kathleen Clifford Radke. Naveed Rashadi Nazad. Patricia Ann Ravelinsky. Elise Danielle Robinson. Antonio Rodriguez Mata. Hannah Marie Rogers. Timothy James Rooney. Ethan Arie Rossler. Chloe Elizabeth Ruppelt. Jack Henry Reuven. Alexander Vincent Sanchez. Veda Shea Sane. Dagny Lund Schmidt. Kelly Ann Schrader. Margot Lyons Schultz. Arman Ram Shetty. Victor Lewis Clayton Simononik. Justin Habish Sinekin. Jacob Henry Score. Kathleen Elizabeth Skoland. Samuel James Slater. Jordan Kimberly Smith. Lauren Rose Smith. Trevor David Smith. Riley Lynn Summers. Quasi Akita Stampley. Margaret Morgan Stewart. Anna Elizabeth Straszewski. Michael Joseph Switek. Darby Abbott Tevlin. Maya Rachel Thompson. Gabrielle Turer. Flynn Timothy Harold Verts. Ashley K. Vogel. Grace Sophia Watkins. Joseph Michael Wells. Joshua Emmanuel Wilborn Hinton. Marcus J. Emmanuel Wilkes. Michael Adam Wilson. Kaylee Marie Wine. Megan Elizabeth Winters. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present University School of Milwaukee's Class of 2019.
I ask you to please remain standing for the playing of our alma mater, and then we're just going to be standing a lot towards the end here. Remain standing as we do our recessional. Audience, please stay at your seats until all the graduates have completely left the gymnasium. We'll be moving next door to the reception, and we hope you will join us there for the graduates' reception. Now, our alma mater.